to this Bloxels video tutorial. What I'm going to show you in this quick video tutorial is how to publish your game once your Bloxels game is done and you're ready to share it. So sharing in Bloxels is done basically two ways. You have to go through the arcade, which is down here in the middle here, and the arcade will share it with the Bloxels community, so anyone else that's using Bloxels. But if you're in a class like I have set up, it will share it with the rest of your classmates, and more importantly, it'll share it with your teacher, so your teacher can give you feedback and see what you've done and all that kind of good stuff. But the cool thing is that your friends in your class will also be able to play your game, which is really neat to be able to see what people have made. Okay, so let's get started. So here on the home screen, I'm logged in. I'm going to go to the builder, and I'm going to go to games, and I'm going to load up my game here and click on edit. Okay, so I have just the basics here. I have my player character, I have an enemy down here, which is the skull, and I have some water, which is just a little bit of a jumping hazard, and then I have a little platform up here which I will have for winning the game. Okay, so now I'm ready to publish. So how do I do that? Well, once you're ready to do that, you're going to click up here in the top right hand corner, and you're going to go, you can either go home and then go to the arcade, or you can just jump right to the arcade. So when you go to the arcade, you're going to see a bunch of featured games from the community, and you can see some different categories over here. Over here on the left-hand side, the ones that are most important for you would be once you have some published games. Here's my very first one. You'll be able to see a collection of all your games that you did. You'll be able to click on my class and be able to see all the published games from fellow classmates. And then the rest are all, there's demos, which are made by the Bloxels company, so you can try things out, new features, and that's a really good way of learning. But the most important thing here is this publish button up here in the top. So you're going to choose which game you want to publish, and you can rename the title. I'm okay with the name. Then they give you another opportunity to drag your hero to where your hero should start. So please make sure that that is set up properly. I'm going to say right there and click on OK. Now this is probably one of the most important things. Your game needs a way of winning. Technically, you could publish your game without a way to win, but people are going to think negatively about your game. They're not going to be able to finish it. It'll be impossible. So you can publish a work in progress, but you just want to be careful about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the builder, and I'm going to put in an end flag. So go back to my game. Okay, so the way you put in an end flag is I'm going to go to my first tab here, and let me see if I can scroll down. There we go. I'm going to go to the first tab here, and let me move over here to the right. So the way you pan, and I'm not a big fan of this, but it works, is right up here you can see your entire level. And I want to move to the right. So all I do is if I click on this, I then get this screen right here, and if I click the little right arrow once, you'll see that now I'm in the middle of the game, and I can kind of see that. I could click again, and I'm shifted over, but I'm going to click right about there. Then you just click outside, and boom, you're there. It's not the most fluid way of navigating around, but it works. Okay, so to do a end flag, you want to click on this white block here, and I'm going to go ahead and place it right here. Then to configure that block, you want to click on this third tab here, which is the wrench icon, and then you can go ahead and either click on your enemies to configure them, or you could go ahead and click on your white block. Okay, so if this was a dialog box, I could change the graphic here. I could even make it a checkpoint, which is very cool. And of course, I can add in text that puts in dialogue for characters and quest missions and instructions and facts and all that kind of good stuff. What I want to do though is I want to turn it into an actual end flag, and then you've got right now you've got 6 different ones here, and you can of course go ahead and customize it however you want. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at fireworks, and there we go, and you just click off of it, and that's it. Now there's an end flag. Now, if I want to configure the way that that looks, I can go here to this middle tab, and I've loaded up an actual flag, and I'll click on it there, and so now it looks much better. Okay, so now I'm going to get ready to publish. So I'm going to go back up here. It's all saved. So I'm going to go back up here and go back to the arcade. Publish. Title's good. Placement of my character is good. This game has an end flag now, so that's good too. Settings, so now you can actually edit your hero. It's kind of cool that you can actually change these before you hit publish. So if it gives you a second chance to realize that something's wrong. I can change my background, I can change music. So if you edit a background, these are all of my custom made backgrounds, but I can go here to the asset packs and I can choose whatever library I want. And again, I have a class here, so we have all these asset packs that I've installed for these students. So I'm going to decide to go ahead and do, let's go ahead and do Wicked Fortress. Why not? And there we go. And then, of course, I can go ahead and click on Edit Music. And they have a collection of music. I'm going to go ahead and choose Dark Tower just because that seems to be appropriate. And I'm going to click on OK. So now you can enter in tags. We'll just call this Castle. We'll call this, say, Test. Okay, and I'll say OK. And that's it. So I can play test it right now, or if I'm happy with it, I can just click on OK. Once you're set, it puts it in a console, old school console, which I really appreciate, and then you hit publish. It does this really cool animation, which serves no purpose, except I think it's really cool. Hats off to the animators that did that. Now here's a really important thing. Here's the game ID, which you could search the arcade with this game ID, but this is actually the really cool thing. If you click down here on the URL, it will then copy the address, and you can click on OK. The cool thing now is that if you open up a new web tab and you just paste in what it copied and go to that, it will load up in the arcade. You don't have to have an account. You should be able to just go ahead and do that. And the cool thing about that URL is that, and you'll see that it didn't actually go to my game yet, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But once your game is live, you will then be able to give this URL to anybody. You can submit this to your teacher. You could put it in an email and share it with friends. I guess you could put it on social media just to share it with a greater amount of people. It's really cool. For my students, you could actually publish this URL. You could share it on Schoology so I could see your work. Okay, the last bit, your game, once you click on OK, your game could take up to 24 hours to show up in the arcade. Okay, so you have to be patient. It has to be approved by the Bloxels staff. And again, I've seen it happen in as fast as 10 minutes. I've seen it take as long as 24 hours. So be patient, and it will show up. As you can see, I have one here from an earlier test. Okay, that is it from this tutorial. I hope this helps you out, and happy game developing with Bloxels.